Good morning, squad. Welcome back to MadMizzy Sports Morning Show, the number one spot for everything sports talk, sports news, sports debate in the morning. Hope y'all had a great weekend, safe weekend, adventurous weekend. Enjoyed the basketball that came on Saturday. Enjoyed Championship Sunday. I clearly didn't enjoy Championship Sunday. We got a beautiful rundown this Monday. Of course, we're going to go back to Championship Sunday, break down the 31-7 Eagles win over my San Francisco 49ers, the 23-20 Chiefs win over the Bengals. Then we're going to go back into should the NBA refs be getting fined for missing calls. We got to touch on the NBA games that came on this past Saturday. You had the Celtics beat the Lakers 125-121 in overtime. And then you had Joel Embiid go for 47-18 against Nikola Jokic, and Kyrie Irving another 20-point fourth quarter this season, the fourth 20-point quarter this season for Kyrie Irving. How good can the Nuts be? And what does Joel Embiid have to do for an MVP this year? Let's get right into it, gang gang. So, of course, I'm going to start it off going back to Sunday, addressing the real issue that was going on with my San Francisco 49ers, what I took away from that thrashing that we took to the Philadelphia Eagles. To me, it was all over as soon as Brock Purdy got hurt. What was that, third play, first drive? So, to me, as soon as that happened, I knew if we was going to have to rely on Josh Johnson, who actually got hurt in the third quarter, that we had no shot of beating the Philadelphia Eagles, who were the most dominant team for most of the NFL season, most of the 2022 NFL season. So I knew it was going to be an uphill battle with Brock Purdy, but without Brock Purdy, it was almost impossible. Almost impossible. Is Kyle Shanahan to blame for how that game went with him not challenging the non-catch of Devontae Smith that ended up turning into 7 points for the Philadelphia Eagles, and then calling that bootleg that had the tight end blocking Hassan Reddick, one of the best pass rushers for the Philadelphia Eagles, that came off and killed Brock Purdy and killed his arm and just ended the game right then and there? To me, I'm going to say no. I'm not putting no blame on Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan, who was taking my San Francisco 49ers to their third NFC Championship game in 4 seasons. We went out there, we've been calling these plays. When we went to the Super Bowl, we played the Vikings, we went through the Green Bay Packers, we ran these plays when we was going up against the Los Angeles Rams last year with Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey, all those dudes. So no, it was just probably poor execution and a bad result of that play. You get what I'm saying? Like, I look at that play, and to me, Brock Purdy has to finish out the action to Deebo Samuel. He does the play action, but then you see him do the play action to Christian McCaffrey, but you still had Deebo Samuel coming around the formation. He never does the action to Deebo Samuel, so therefore Hassan Reddick has no pause in him. You feel what I'm saying? No hesitation. And even if he doesn't hesitate, if you still do the action to Deebo Samuel, you probably don't have enough time to flip your hips around and get in throwing position. So it's just a normal sack. It's probably still a sack fumble, but Brock Purdy probably doesn't get hurt because he's not trying to throw the ball at the time, and Hassan Reddick is just running through his arm. So to me, you have to finish out that action, Brock. And that probably was him being young, him probably rushing, being in the NFC Championship game, but you clearly know Kyle is not bringing Deebo around unless he's handing him the ball or faking him the ball. He's not just bringing him around the formation for nothing. So to me, as soon as I seen it, I was like, why didn't you finish out the action, Brock? You got to finish out the action. You get what I'm saying? I'm looking at Jimmy G and Trey Lance on the sideline laughing. I'm like, man, I don't care about no regulations. Y'all better go in the locker room and suit up, bro. We ain't got no chance with Josh Johnson. And then, unfortunately, Josh Johnson gets hurt with a concussion and everything. But, yeah, man, that Eagles defensive line is absolutely no joke. I don't know why we came out there attempting to send some tight ends to block some of their edge rushers, but I know we do have a history with Hassan Reddick, with him being with the Arizona Cardinals, so maybe that's how we handled him in previous years. So we felt comfortable doing that, but clearly that backfired on us, and Brock Purdy not finishing out the play action backfired on us. It was just all downhill. That Philadelphia Eagles team is a buzzsaw right now, a bunch of bullies at that. You feel what I'm saying? You seen at the end of the game, they up in there still gripping up Deebo Samuel, gripping up Brandon Ayuk. Trent Williams was tired of that. Get off my man. Get off my man. Y'all just better seal the deal, man, because that NFC ain't going nowhere no time soon. I know y'all feeling like y'all unbeatable, this, that, and the third, but trust me, Trey Lance will be back next year. Trey Lance will be back next year, and that NFC East is just going to get worse. And y'all been strutting. So, hey, listen, y'all better seal the deal because there's no guarantee y'all getting back. No guarantee y'all getting back, but let me stop talking. Congratulations to my city. They was turned up last night, man. I couldn't turn nowhere. Listen, the city was turned. I'm still Niner faithful, though, and we will be back next year. We will be back next year. I would have much rather a parade in Northern California than Philadelphia, I'll tell you that. Let's move on to the second game that came on Sunday. We had a 23-20 Kansas City Chiefs win over the Cincinnati Bengals. What did I see from this game? To me, you saw Patrick Mahomes beat out Joe Burrow at what supposedly Joe Burrow is better at doing, and that's being a pocket passer. You look at Joe Burrow, 26 out of 41, 270 yards passing, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions, 2 critical interceptions. You look at Patrick Mahomes, 29 for 43, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then he pulled Marcus Valdez-Scantling out of nowhere with 6 catches, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And 1 touchdown, and then you had Travis Kelce being Travis Kelce. That was just an amazing, iconic, legendary performance from Patrick Mahomes to me to outduel Joe Burrow and what Joe Burrow does better than him, and that's being a pocket quarterback, or supposedly does better than Patrick Mahomes, and that's being a pocket passer. That to me, I'm watching this game and seeing him make plays and maneuver. If he doesn't just drop the ball and that fumble, you can really tell like this dude had no flexibility in his ankle, because if he had any type of flexibility in his ankle, he would have just ran back under the joint and got it. But as soon as it fell out his head, he couldn't plant on that, his right ankle. He couldn't plant on whatever ankle that was. Then he tries to dive for it. It was just bad. But if it wasn't for that fumble, that game might get out of hand, because the Kansas City Chiefs were driving on that play. You get what I'm saying? And the Kansas City Chiefs were playing out of their world. Chris Jones was just unblockable. That defensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs was just dominant out there. When you think about Frank Clark, Chris Jones, that was one stellar performance from Patrick Mahomes and that defensive line from the Kansas City Chiefs. Another game decided by 3 points from the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. I am looking forward to seeing how the AFC shapes up moving forward. We are just in such good hands as far as competition goes when it comes to the NFL. You think about the AFC, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert. Oh my goodness, the list goes on and on. Then you think about the NFC. I think that's where you just got the full-on, good teams. You got the San Francisco 49ers, you got the Dallas Cowboys, you got the Philadelphia Eagles, you got the New York Giants, you got the Detroit Lions, you got the Green Bay Packers, you got the Minnesota Vikings. We're in very, very good hands as far as competition goes with the NFL. So let's move on to the NBA on Saturday and touch on some of the NBA games that came on. Let's touch on the Celtics win over the Los Angeles Lakers 125-121 in overtime. LeBron James getting fouled at the end of regulation. You had everybody having something to say after the game about the missed call, especially from the Los Angeles Lakers, with them saying this might be their 3rd to 5th loss because of bad calls or non-calls from the referees. Do you agree with Dennis Shcröder saying that NBA referees should be fined for missing calls, though? Me personally, no, the NBA should not be fining NBA referees if they miss calls for non-calls or this, that, and the third. That's just ridiculous. That's like fining somebody because they missed a shot, because they missed a layup, because they missed a read, they didn't see an open man. It's a mistake. It's a missed call. Just like y'all, basketball players miss plays, y'all miss shots, y'all miss layups, y'all miss dunks. NBA refs miss plays. Y'all fast as a mug, athletic as hell, jumping out the gym. They not going to catch everything. They're not going to catch everything. What the NBA does need to do is implement a rule where NBA coaches probably get 2 challenges, just like the NFL. And if you get both challenges right, you get a challenge back. And they should implement expedited reviews. What's so hard about that? The NBA is making a bunch of buku money. Why couldn't they expedite that review? You feel what I'm saying? It's the end of regulation anyway. Y'all about to go into overtime anyway. They about to go into a TV timeout. Just expedite it and come back and be like, no, it was actually a foul. Jayson Tatum clearly smacked LeBron James across the wrist. LeBron James goes to the free throw line for 2 shots. How hard is that? Nobody gonna be mad because we clearly see Jayson Tatum smack LeBron James across the wrist. But should they be fined? No. Let's not listen to Dennis Shcröder when it comes to anything financially. My man turned down an $80 million contract extension with the Los Angeles Lakers to sign a $6 million deal with the Boston Celtics. Okay, maybe he wanted a better shot at winning a championship game. But now, just a year and a half later, you're back with the Los Angeles Lakers on a $2 million contract. Brother, you threw away 40 times what you should be worth right now. Over what? Over what? Nah, bro, we ain't going to listen to you when it comes to finances, but I do think the NBA needs to implement some things to help out these help out these NBA refs and to minimize the missed calls that are affecting these games. Let's move on though. Let's touch on the huge performances from Joel Embiid and Kyrie Irving. I want to touch on Joel Embiid first. 47 points, 18 rebounds, and a 126-119 win over the Denver Nuggets. Just utterly dominating Nikola Jokic. You know, Jokic went out there, had his 25 and 10. You feel what I'm saying? That dude just goes out there and does what he does. But what does Joel Embiid have to do to get an MVP? To me, he was the MVP last year, but I think the number one thing that Joel Embiid has to do to finally get that hardware on his shelf, seeing as he's the MVP runner-up for back-to-back seasons, he has to be on the floor. Stop getting hurt, bro, especially when in comparison to Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic at his size, not being super in shape. I mean, he's chubby. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he's not fat or nothing, but he's not like cut up like he, you know what I'm saying, Cat Williams or Joel Embiid. And he's out there for, I'm going to say, at least 90% of the games, 95% of the games, while Joel Embiid is probably out there for 75% of the games, 70% of the games, 70 to 80% of the games. And Nikola Jokic is out there for about 95 to 99% of the games. Like, you have to be out there more, Joel. That's just the simple fact of it. To me, he's more, I'm not going to say he's more talented because they're both supremely talented. You get what I'm saying? They both can score inside, outside. They both can pass the ball. They both can grab huge rebounds. I love Joel Embiid. I love the dog that's inside of him. But, yeah, he just has to be out there on the floor more. That's as simple as it gets. You have to be on the floor more, Joel. And as soon as he's matching the amount of time that he's being on the floor with Nikola Jokic, he'll probably be the MVP, depending on how the rest of the league shapes up. You get what I'm saying? Let's move on, though. Let's touch on Kyrie Irving scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter of a 120-115 win over the New York Knicks. That's his fourth 20-point fourth quarter this year. Damn, bro, we not even at the All-Star break, brother. Golly. My man is absolutely snapping. I want to tip my cap to Kyrie Irving, and that is like what Kyrie Irving prides himself on being, and that's a closer, being a clutch player, being a Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality type. I love the simple fact that he's taking over these games in clutch situations. He's the number one scorer in the fourth quarter in the NBA this year. So just utterly dominant out there. How good can the Nets be? They're fourth in the East right now. When Kevin Durant gets back, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna say we'll be splitting the hairs between who's the best team in the East, because I won't say that Boston is clearly better than the Philadelphia 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks, and I won't say that any of those other teams are better than the Boston Celtics. I won't say any of those teams is clearly better than the other teams. I just can't. So it's going to come down to who wants it more. Who wants it more? And that makes for a very, very interesting NBA Eastern Conference playoff run. That's just going to be super intriguing, especially when it comes down to the semifinals of, it ain't no easy dubs. Once it comes down to those 4 teams, oh my goodness, this might be one of the best playoffs we've seen in a while as far as competition go, because I know Giannis want to add another one to his hardware. You got the Boston Celtics that want to add one to their hardware, and then you got Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant that want to go out there and add one of their own to their hardware. And then you got Joel Embiid, James Harden, Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey out there that want to overall add one and add some legitimacy to the whole trust the process. So it's going to be a very, very interesting Eastern Conference playoffs this year. Let me know what y'all think, though. And how good can the Nets be? The Nets can be the best team in the league. That's just my opinion. Let me know what y'all think, though. Championship round recap. You had a 31-7 massacre of the Philadelphia Eagles over the San Francisco 49ers. What did y'all take away from that game? 23-20 win of the Kansas City Chiefs over the Cincinnati Bengals. What did y'all take away from that game? Should the NBA refs get fined after another missed call on LeBron James from Jayson Tatum at the end of regulation in a Celtics 125-121 overtime win over the Los Angeles Lakers? And what does Joel Embiid have to do to get an MVP over anybody in the NBA with a 47-18 performance over the Denver Nuggets? And how good can the Brooklyn Nets be when Kevin Durant gets back after another closing performance from Kyrie Irving, 21 points in the fourth quarter of a 122-115 win over the New York Knicks? MadMizzy Sports Morning Show. Like, comment, share, subscribe, listen, alert. MizzyWorld Entertainment. Gang.